Hey, I got that new whip. Hey, Jose the dude trip.
And we're live.
Welcome to BETT Records, where we talk about hot topics, ideas, and all the shit you really want to hear. And we are live for a special coverage of the UFC Fight Night this Saturday, September 3rd, in where's it at? Paris, France?
Paris, France.
Ooh,
The
across the
inaugural
seas.
debut.
So there's been events in Paris before? No,
Nope.
First time.
MMA was banned there for the longest time.
Oh wow!
Because of COVID stuff, or no,
Just
something else.
Just period.
All right.
It was just
Wow.
banned.
When did he get unbanned?
Recently, obviously.
Very recently, actually.
Well, I wanted to know when.
Within the recent,
Well, dude,
within the past year or
Well,
so.
bro, you have to remember, New York was actually the last state in the U.S. to legalize mixed martial arts.
Ooh.
Every other state it was legal, and then New York, out of all the states, New York was the last to do it. And they started their first event with a bang with Conor McGregor and Eddie Alvarez for 205. But now we're making a big splash to start off UFC Paris with a main event, one that we certainly is much anticipated for.
Yeah.
We got the former title challenger and the number one ranked heavyweight taking on the number 3 rising star, Tuivasa, and his counterpart, Cyril Gane.
I still think Tui should be ranked higher.
After this game, or after this fight, he might be.
Yeah, I think this will really prove it.
I still think he should be the number one contender.
Over Cyril Gane.
Oh, yeah. He's going to mop the floor with him.
I don't know.
You
dude.
think
This is-
so?
I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a real, I think
It's not
a
gonna be
really- I
close.
think it's a fight that's really going to prove his
First round knockout.
Do you
That's
do you remember watching the Gane and Ngannou fight?
First round.
Why do you think that?
Because Tuivasa's a beast. What are you talking
really?
about?
Have you
Smaller,
ever watched a
dude.
fight of
Love
Cyril
Tuivasa.
Gane's?
Doesn't matter.
I honestly don't know if I've ever seen Gane fight, but I do love Tui.
In his last outing, Cyril Gane at UFC 270 came up just short in his bid to become the undisputed heavyweight champion, where he lost a very close decision to the current champ, Francis Ngannou. Little background about Cyril Gane, kickboxer. This guy can strike with you. I don't know if you want to strike with him. You come in and try and play brawler with him, he's just going to teep kick you back and say, get the fuck out of here. We're going to stand mano-a-mano. Because I even said from the beginning at 270 that Ngannou wasn't going to knock out Cyril Gane.
Right.
And so with the Derek Lewis tied to Tuivasa, it was brawler versus brawler, so it was kind of one that could have gone either way.
Sure.
Sure.
Yep.
But when you put brawler against a elite kickboxer, that brawling style doesn't really work. It really doesn't work.
Didn't he lose his last fight to a brawler?
Who?
Tui?
Cyril Gane?
Cyril Gane? Yes.
Oh. So it doesn't
but
work.
he didn't knock him out.
But it worked.
He didn't knock him out. But he used wrestling instead of brawling. He wrestled his way.
So his opponent even changed
He changed
his
up
strat.
his style.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. Do you think Tuivasa changes his... I mean, I think the right answer is he has to change something instead of just going in there like a caveman and windmilling him, right? I don't know.
Yeah, he needs to take a more different approach if he wants to, because I can't see him winning a decision against Cyril Gane. No way, because we haven't seen Tuivasa in a 5-round fight.
That's
ever.
true. That's true.
You really find out if you are a champion if you can go 5 rounds. A lot of people say, because I never have to, because I always finish. We saw Francis Ngannou push to 5 rounds.
Yep.
For the second time in his career. The first time he lost, the second time he barely edged out Cyril Gane. So, if it goes anywhere past the second or third round,
First
Gane's
round
gonna win.
knockout.
Okay, there's Josh's prediction.
Damn.
So how do you see the knockout? Do you see a kick? Do you see a right, a left, a knee, an elbow?
Knockout first round.
Because he knocked out Derek Lewis with an elbow in his last fight.
Probably not an elbow. It would probably be a wild punch.
Yeah.
You
Be a
think so?
Dick
Yeah,
slap
it
to
could be
the
a kick,
face.
though. You don't know. His kicks are sneaky.
Mm-hmm. In the co-main event, we got a middleweight banger. We got Robert Whittaker taking on Marvin Vittori. What do we think of this one, boys?
Well, it's the 1 versus the 2, so it should be half decent. The odds are negative 210 for Whitaker, plus 180 for Marvin Vittori as
Sounds
well.
about right.
Yeah, this is probably going to be a really good match. I think it might probably go a decision, maybe. It's probably going to at least go all rounds.
Yeah.
Think so?
Michael Bisping's podcast today, go check it out, the Believe You Me podcast. He predicted, he couldn't make a prediction because he's commentating the fight, but he did predict saying this will be the fight of the night.
Ooh, yep.
You got a classic wrestler versus striker. Whittaker obviously fell short for the second time against Israel Adesanya in his last outing. Vettori edged out Paulo Costa in a decision in his last outing, and before that fell to the champion Adesanya for the second time. Both have lost to him twice.
Oh, shoot.
Like, could you see if either wins? I don't think neither of them get a title shot because they lost it Adesanya twice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just...
And what do they do then? Face the number 3 guy that's lower on the
Yeah,
totem
yeah.
pole, or what? I guess. Well, here's probably what happens. If Robert Whittaker truly wins, Marvin Vettori would go down to the 3, 4, 5 spot, whatever, and that number 2 would move up. Is that accurate?
Do you have the rankings pulled up?
I don't. I do not. I can just see which the 2 opponents are ranked.
They
But
changed a lot in the last week.
okay.
I'm pretty sure Costa went up in the rankings, but
Let's see. What do you want? Like top 5 right now?
yeah, top 5.
Okay, let's see here.
Obviously, we have Izzy, the champion.
Yeah, Izzy, Whittaker, Cannonier. Cannonier and Vittori are tied for 2.
Oh, okay.
And then it's Brunson and Pereira.
Well, we already know
Costa
that.
has 6. He's right outside.
We already know Pereira will be challenging the champion in Madison Square Garden in November.
Yeah.
So that's taken up.
Strickland will be right after
Sean
Costa.
Strickland and Jared Cannonier were scheduled to fight next month, but Strickland just pulled out yesterday with an injury.
Damn.
He posted on his social media something really gross with his hand.
Oh, jeez.
So, who knows? Maybe if Whittaker and Vettori get a win, quick turnaround, take on
Right, see
Cannonier.
what happens, yeah.
Why not? But then again, Whittaker's already beaten Cannonier.
Makes sense.
I could see Vettori versus Brunson. I don't know if Brunson's head's right after getting knocked the fuck
Yeah,
out
it's
by
like Brunson.
Cannonier back in
Brunson
February.
too good.
Has Whittaker faced Adesanya twice, or is it only the one time? Okay, so he's already got 2 shots, and he's still the number 1.
Correct.
How long,
He's
generally does it? Yeah.
So Whittaker's kind of like that Colby Covington. He'll always be the number 1 contender,
Yeah.
but as long as that guy is champion,
Right. He'll never
not-
move forward.
Nope.
Yeah.
And Whittaker used to fight at 170, couldn't make the weight. He's not a 205er unless he just completely bulked up. But even then, I don't see him being successful up a weight class.
Sure. So really, generally speaking, how long would it take for Whittaker to see another true title shot? Would it be after Adesanya loses? Because he's already had 2, bouts against him?
Well, after Volkanovski let Holloway get a 3rd shot, if there's
possible.
really nobody else, and Whittaker's putting on these dominant performances, then it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then if he loses a 3rd time, no,
Right.
it's done.
Right. That's true.
Like Holloway will never be featherweight champion again.
It's like baseball. 3 strikes and you're out, bud.
Correct.
Yep. Wait for the next guy.
Usually it's 2 and you're out, but things are changing nowadays.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Who do you have winning this fight? I don't think you even said. And how and what round, Mr. UFC?
It's really Vettori.
Vettori.
I
I
have Vettori.
think that's a little bit of an upset.
I think Vettori wins it. I just think he'll be able to get Whittaker down fairly easily. And he even showed in his last fight against Paulo Costa that he can strike with anybody. He has a hell of a chin. He took Costa's... And here's the thing in that last fight, that Costa didn't even cut weight for it. He did not want to cut down to 185, and Vettori said, fuck it, I don't care.
Do it anyways.
So he didn't drain, and he took all his best shots, and he still won. Out-wrestled him. I just think with a chin like that, he could easily take one of Whittaker's right hands, his overhead kicks, and just keep coming forward. And if he gets Whittaker to the ground, Whittaker's going to have problems.
Sure. Do we like any other fights on these cards? I know those are the only 2 big fights that I recognize both of them.
Who is beginning the main card? Kutelava's fighting?
I was gonna say, if you want me to, start with
Kutelava, the Hulk.
No, beginning of this card, like the main card is, I see Tyler Lapilus versus Khalid Taha.
I thought Tuivasa was on there.
So that looks like the prelims.
Nope, that's the main card. Yep, that's first fight. There was a girl fight. Women's
I
fight got canceled.
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
No, that
that
was
is.
Jessica Andrade and Menin Fury.
Jessica Andrade.
Jessica Andrade is not on this card.
No, it's canceled. It's canceled. It says cancel right there. Looks
it's
like.
canceled.
God damn it! Now it just fucking.
That's what I said.
Oh wait, no. Kute Laba's fighting Johnny Walker next week.
Okay, that must be what she's thinking of. Yep. Because then it's John Makdessi versus Nasrat Hakparas.
Nazarat. Okay.
Nasrat, yep. And then
That's
it's
pretty good.
Alessio De Chirico versus Roman Kopolov.
See, what they're doing is, since they're in a new spot, France, they're bringing in more Europeans, kind of regional
Right.
support.
Right, makes sense. Yeah.
So this is kind of a card. So they've been to London twice, been back to Europe twice ever since the COVID lockdown was over, and
Right.
since then, all those cards have been bangers, setting arena records. All these unknown fighters are now known, so expect all these unknown guys to be recognized at the end of the night.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously,
these guys look good.
so aside from the main event and the co-main event, I do know who Nazarat is.
Yeah, I've seen Nasrat before. Yep.
Mini Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah.
He fought, I believe he fought Dan Hooker
Mm.
last October, or no, last September. Then Charles Jourdain, Nathaniel Wood and Charles Jourdain. I know these guys. That's a good fight right there. I would probably have to go with Charles
What's on your
Jourdain.
prelims?
Got prelims.
Yeah, and I noticed too. You're right. It's
A lot.
there's
of
one guy from
Europeans.
Canada, but the only U.S. guy is in the prelims on that second section. So they're definitely trying to get some, Italians out there. Some probably people you don't
Right.
see
Well, yeah,
fight
they
as
want-
often
they
as
want
well.
more
Vittori's
like
the only
regional
Italian
fighters.
guy.
Yeah, makes
Regional,
sense.
true for
Alessio
Paris.
De-
That's true.
Yep.
Right, yeah, European and anyone else around there,
Correct. You got a couple Russians. I saw a Brazilian, France, Netherlands,
Yeah, that's-
UK,
Where's Paris?
Poland,
It's in France. What? Oh my god. I thought you were
Germany,
arguing where Paris
Switzerland.
was.
Also got some Southies.
It's
We
like,
got an
that's
Argentinian.
Argentinian.
Ooh,
Argentinian, I think is how you pronounce it.
okay.
Is that Saquon Barkley?
Jaquan Buckley.
What the?
Pretty close.
I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he arguably got the greatest knockout ever last year, where he threw a kick at someone, the guy caught it, and then he spun around, jumped in the air, and back kicked him in the face. So he's a household name to MMA fans. He's good, but he's got a challenge right there. To a +2. He's a +215 against this Russian dude. But
Imavov.
when Buckley comes, he comes to fight. But I definitely, this is a good card though. I do like all the regionals, the international fame coming in here. Early start time, too.
Oh yeah.
What time is it for Central?
2 o'clock Central is the main card,
Oh, wow.
and then
Damn.
early prelims will start at. They will start at 11 a.m. Central Time.
Alright. You have to wake up early for that one.
I'm excited. UFC just keeps going up and up.
Yeah.
So-
I can't wait to see you.
So let me just break down. So we already talked about what's going to happen if the winner of Vittori Whittaker, what happens after that. What do you think happens in both scenarios if Cyril Gane wins or if Ty wins? Because there's a big bombshell that's being dropped on the heavyweight division is that John Jones and Stipe Miocic are in the works.
Yeah. Okay. So that's
And-
so. I guess. Do you think they would set up a fight with Ngannou then?
Maybe. It's tough to say because Tai Tuivasa actually last week had a little back and forth with John Jones on Twitter.
Interesting. Yeah.
And he said, I respect him as a fighter, but he's a dirtbag human being. Basically saying he'd love to knock him out.
Well, John Jones isn't even ranked.
Yeah,
'Cause
because
he's a
he hasn't
retired
fought.
fighter,
He hasn't
yeah.
fought in 3 years.
Okay.
But yet he's still in the pound for pound ranking.
He's
Yes.
kind of like your other favorite UFC guy, Dustin Poirier,
Why Dustin?
because he doesn't fight either.
You mean Conor McGregor?
Oh no, he doesn't fight either.
Dustin Poirier fought in December, and he's there's going to be a fight announcement for him very soon.
Oh, interesting.
We'll text you. You gotta keep up
So It's tough to say because if Cyril Gane wins, he'll definitely be right back in that title shot conversation.
Right.
Same thing in
I think
Ty.
same
If
for
he
Ty,
wins, will
probably, yeah.
absolutely be in that conversation. It just all depends if this John Jones-Stipe Miocic fight gets scheduled because there are talks of that being for the interim heavyweight belt because Francis is going to be out for at least a couple more months because he completely blew his knee out in the Cyril Gane fight.
So really, whoever has the next shot has a pretty good odd chance of maybe taking the belt at that
Throw
point.
their name in the hat.
Yep.
And obviously, as a fan, I really want to see John Jones versus Francis. Greatest light heavyweight of all time.
That would be pretty
Taking
crazy
on the
fight.
guy that nobody wants to fight.
How
John
many
Jones?
How many fights do you think John Jones needs to get that title shot, though?
One.
You think he needs
One.
one and it's back?
Yeah, I mean, he had a 26-1 record, so that's pretty crazy.
And you have to understand the star power he has. He's regarded as the
Right,
greatest
yeah.
of all time. It's kind of like even when George St. Pierre was regarded as the greatest of all time, he came back after a 4-year layoff and got the title shot immediately against Bisping.
Sure,
Did
sure.
he win that?
Yep,
Yeah.
he won that. And then vacated the belt 3 weeks later and retired. And really pissed Dane off.
Hey, but they still got him casted.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, he's still a toy on the shelf for Dana White.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, there it is. UFC Fight Night France. You don't want to miss that.
She's gonna be a good one.
September 3rd. Wake up early as shit if you're in the U.S. and get ready for this one.
Get your eggs and bacon and your coffee
Oh,
ready.
yeah, that's probably why it's set early, because it's in Europe.
Yeah.
It's gonna be late.
Well, yeah.
Well,
I didn't think
yeah,
about
I
that
could have
right
told
now.
you that.
I didn't think about it until right now.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
that's their nighttime.
No shit.
I just can't wait for them to go back to England again.
I can't wait for them to be back to Minneapolis. That's what really be nice.
Dana, are you hearing this?
Dude, Dana is not listening, bro.
Dana! Dana! 60 G's, baby! Ha ha! No, I was actually researching that one night, looking up like UFC Minneapolis, this and that, and like he did one thing like a couple years ago, this series called Dana White Looking for a Fight, where he'll just show up to the city and just go to regional fights and scout out potential
Oh yeah, Canada.
professional fighters.
Yep.
He was here a couple of years ago, and he even said he's like, Minneapolis is one of my favorite cities. It's like, I feel like you said that about a lot of
Sounds
cities.
like he's
Yeah,
kissing
I'm sure
butt.
that
Yeah,
sounds like
Kissing butt.
kissing big butt.
Bring it back. You know, one thing I really liked when they had it in Minneapolis the last time was they're bringing these back now that restrictions are gone. Open workouts. So like on Wednesday before the fight, you know, they'll have a little area. Fighters will just like loosen
I
up,
see,
show
yeah.
off their skills.
That's kind of dope.
The
Yeah.
last time I was in Minneapolis, they did it at the Mall of America in that one little section.
Oh yeah,
right
with the
there.
stage and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Or
they,
by the
like-
rides.
And they put like the
That's
the
funny.
poster just going all the way down. I wasn't here, but I was looking at that. I was like,
Yep.
that's fucking cool. Just imagine you're going through the mall and you're just like, oh yeah, look, this guy's hitting pads. Who this?
Yep. Yep. Guys hitting pads.
And the last person to win in Minneapolis is the current heavyweight champion of the world, Francis Ngannou. So hopefully they'll be back soon.
It's gonna be a hell of a night.
Well, thank you, Bet Records fans, for tuning in for another one of our MMA UFC episodes. Check out the fights on Saturday night, and we'll be back next week to preview
Saturday
UFC
night.
279 Hamzat versus Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
Peace out, everybody.
Peace.
Do trip. I like how she move it. I like how she move it. I got that new whip. Jose the do trip. I like how she move it. I like how she move it.